Hey, everybody, Thomas here. Beautiful afternoon, and we hadn't had rain in about, I don't know, almost 2 months it feels like here in Tennessee. It's just been absolutely bone dry. They did the last haying of the fields and everything. Anyways, um, out here on the sawmill this morning, we were cutting up these pine logs and everything because we're going to install them here on the house. We have about 50 something 2x4s, 40 something 2x6s, and about 25 2x8s. And we have that giant log on there, which will be turned into more of the 2x8s because I need a total of 50-ish 2x8s and everything at 16 foot. And I'll have like 3 more logs here left over after that. So yeah, what we're doing is we're actually cutting up these pine logs here to be used in the construction of our home. The pine logs here, these are longleaf pine. These are really slow growing, real tight grain. Oh, actually I did have these two 10-foot logs over there. But we've been cutting everything in 20-foot sections, and then we're going to cut them down in half into 10-foot sections for the ones that we need to. And then there are a few longer sections we'll need as well. But anyways, this video here, I'm going to continue to cut on these logs. I'm going to swap out to an awesome blade. So a few months ago, when I say a few months ago, it's probably been 6 months or so, the fine folks at Jerry's Resharp sent me a set of ripper blades and everything. And I said, hey, if you're going to send it to me, let's send some to my dad too, and then we'll see what he thinks of these blades. He has since bought, I think, like two times from them, like 20 blades or something like that and everything. He's very impressed with them. And I'm looking back, I don't know if I ever got that full video out on these ripper blades or anything, but super impressed. I've run a Ripper S before, but this is the Ripper blade. This is a 10-degree blade from Jerry's Resharp. So we're going to go ahead and throw this on there, change it out. The blade I have on there is a really old Timber King Ultramax blade that's been run pretty hard and sharpened probably 5 or 6 times. So she's been sharpened quite a bit. We're going to throw on this Ripper blade, and we'll cut up the remaining, 4 big logs and 2 6 or 10-foot logs sections. And I should have no problem cutting all that up into the 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and swap out this blade. Okay, we've actually gone through and swapped out the blade now and everything. So we got this new blade on here. Initially, I said this was a 10-degree blade. This is actually a 7-degree blade. I actually found some yellow marking on there. And what that means, see if I can show on here. So the back angle, this portion right here, that is at 30 degrees. The front angle, this part right here, that's at 7 degrees off of 90. So if you had a 90-degree, perpendicular from the blade here, 90 degrees and everything, it's 7 degrees off of 90. 7 degree, 10 degree, those are good all-round blades and everything. At 7 degree, I think there's some studies that show that it produces less sawdust, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's so minute, I really can't tell anything different than that. Then you've got the 747s and everything. That's a really tall tooth blade because the back angle here is at 40 degrees, vice 30 degrees, but it just narrows up that tooth. I like a 30-degree back angle. So this portion right here, I like that to be 30 degrees. And then anything between 4 to 12 degrees on this tooth is fine by me. And most people with the naked eye could not tell the difference between a 7-degree and a 10-degree. Really, you'd have to have some type of tool to kind of see that. Or if you had, say, a 10-degree and a 7-degree blade and you put another blade up against it, you could say, okay, this is less or more. In actuality, a 1030 blade is the all-around best blade in my opinion, but a 7-degree blade will do about the same thing. And in fact, when we used to sharpen on the Cook's Cat Claw sharpener and everything, we used to sharpen everything to 8 degrees. So we could take a 7-degree blade, a 10-degree blade, whatever it may be, and make everything just 8 degrees, kind of shoot the middle there, kind of, sort of. All right, so let's go ahead and throw this on here. We've got, so this big Mama Jama, which you can see, I moved the saw head all the way forward because I had no room back there. And you can see how much I'm clearing when I come out. So this sawmill will cut 21 foot. So I've got, 4 inches there. I probably have about the same on the back side, or maybe a little bit less or anything. Yeah, we'll be cutting 2x8s, but we're going to do store dimension size. So that's going to be 1.5 inches by 7.5. These are going to be used in the rafters for that section of the house right there. We are actually going to extend out that peak, that gable roof there, out to the edge of the house. Then we're going to do a big exposed beam. And that section below there, all that area right there, is going to be the master bedroom, bathroom area. The current master is on that side, but we're going to make the master over there and yeah, give the big master bedroom currently over to some of the kids and everything. All right, so let's go ahead and do our initial cuts. I'm going to set the camera up kind of over here. I'll do the initial cuts real time, and then you can see kind of how she's cutting, and I'll see if we can get it where you can see the sawdust coming off. You want a good solid stream of sawdust coming off. I've been very happy with the blades off of Jerry's Resharps, services there and everything. The blades there, they're always set pretty much dead on. I don't think I saw really any variation in their set, and they are sharp as can be and everything. And the folks there are they're good old folks and everything. I really have been impressed in talking to the folks there at Jerry's Resharp. I've used a lot of different blades. They're all really about the same. I don't see plus or minus, say, 5% difference between any single blade. It's really going to come down to who offers the better price and who offers the better customer service. And Jerry's Resharps is one of those companies, like, great price and like some of the best customer service out there. So they've kind of got my my vote of approval on that aspect. They'll work with you. They enjoy having conversations with you on the phone and everything, and that's cool. I do enjoy that. And their shipping is really fast. They're in Kentucky now. We're here in Tennessee. Stupid fast. But all right, let's get to cutting. I'm running diesel on the blade right now. I'm cutting yellow pine. By running diesel on there, it will prevent any buildup of sap and stuff on there. All right, no worries. Now, I don't know if y'all heard that. I definitely heard it. That blade loaded up twice, extremely heavy. Now I cut deep because I've got a kind of a nasty punky side right here, and I can resaw this later, but I heard that blade load up twice, extremely heavy. Also, I want to make sure I got below this section right here, because I'm looking for really good center cut portions for this beam, these long 16-foot 2x8s that we're doing, and it's had a weird bell on it too and a big knot. So, you heard it, I heard it. This is a true testament of how good these blades are, because she loaded up twice. I'm talking stupid heavy. That happened earlier with another blade, and let me tell you, that blade traveled. In basketball, she traveled a lot. I can resaw some out of this too if I want to later. Big Mamba Jamba beam or slab. Oh, heavy. Okay, in this section, she loaded up right here. There is ever so slightly a dip. I know she loaded up over here. I actually can't even feel a dip over here. But yeah, that was a good quick cut. Let's go take a look at where she loaded up at and see what that looks like. So it's this section right here. You can kind of see it on camera right now. But that's not that bad of a dip. And I'm not really, I guess it's just not protruding right through here and everything. But you can hear her kind of load up. The other one down there, I can't see really any dipping or diving. Everything else was a good true cut all the way down the length of it. Just this little dip right here. Maybe that's slightly more than 1/8 of an inch, maybe. Not much more than that. Not too shabby. But yeah, I was kind of powered through it. I'm like, well, the best thing you can do sometimes, unless you see that blade really start to rise, the best thing you can do is just power through it. Straight up, just power through that stuff. Keep your RPMs up and hope for the best. All right, very happy with that. Let's go ahead, cut some more of this. I want to throw in a time lapse and everything because this is going to be kind of the same thing, but you heard what it looked like. We're going to get this cut up into a squared up cant, then I'll go real time again, and then you can see how fast we're flying through this behemoth of a log here. Okay, as you can see, we've got as close to center cut as you can. On the other side, it's about like right here. So it's pretty dang close throughout the length of the log. The log did have a bit of a curve to it, nothing too major. I cleaned off all the nasty sides. We were so close to getting a double stack, it just wouldn't work out. I was hoping to have a double stack, because then you could see like every cut, you're getting two 2x8s by 20 foot long, which would be really nice. Unfortunately, I have a pile off to the side I have to resaw, which will get some 2x8s and 2x4s out of, but it just did not make a double stack, unfortunately. We're cutting this one real time. This is a pretty good cut. I mean, yes, I will have a little bit of pith in there and everything, but a lot of these boards are going to be, they're going to be pretty dang good little boards and everything. Everything's cleaned up. I think this dimension's like, I don't know, 13, whatever inch and a half scale is, times a lot. So let's get this one cut in real time. I want you to also take note of the sawdust that is coming off of the right side as you're viewing everything. It is a solid stream of sawdust. I mean, it just looks, that's textbook what you want to see. So this angle we're going to cut this fast, and we'll go from there. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Not too long, everything. The weird thing is the fact that I had to slow down at the beginning and at the end because it's just so freaking long. Sorry, I'm hearing someone drive across the farm over here. Okay, so that cut up pretty well and everything. The slow part was I had to enter into the log slow, and I had to slow down here as well because I am literally at the two extremes. You can see that's how much blade clearance I have. So I had to be very careful, and I was being very gentle when I hit the end stop here and everything. So I'd start slowing it down about here and then just kind of come to a crawl. So I'm not ramming the end stop here each time and everything. And same thing back on this end. I'll show you how close we were over here. There's not a lot of room. I mean, this is like literally about as close as you can be. So the entrance and the exit out of the log was really slow. Down the length of it, that was a pretty good speed. I felt pretty comfortable with all that. Now I do have it lifted up at the toe boards, so it does have a big bow to it right now. But I didn't see any variation to that cut. I heard it load up one time, and it was somewhere towards the middle and everything. Other than that, it cut like a dream. Very happy with the flow of sawdust coming off this. The set, that means the set's really good and everything. And then just the actual cut quality itself. It's just, I mean, good cut quality for any type of new blade out of the box and everything. The interesting thing is, you know, how many times will you be able to, quote unquote, re-sharpen this blade? We usually get 5 or 6 sharpenings, but we do have the new Woodmiser sharpening, so we might get a few more because we're taking off less material, and the actual tooth profile matches that of the stone. Now, this was being a 7-degree blade. I don't have a 7-degree stone. I have a 10-degree stone, so we'll have to get a 7-degree stone. But nonetheless, it takes off less material, so you should get a lot of sharpenings out of it. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and probably end this one for right now. No, I'm not going to end this one. I'll do a whole lot more cutting. We'll figure out the total board footage that this blade has cut up, and I'll show you the end result here at the end. I'm not going to bore you with all the different time lapses and everything of that, but we're going to kind of keep track. This is one log down. I'll calculate up the board foot of all this. We have 3 more over there, and there's 2 more 10-footers off to the left side. So stay tuned. I'll throw something in between now and the end of the video. Here's what I'll put in between the now and the end of the video. Let's see if my dad can get this off here without screwing anything up. We did have one little mix-up earlier today. I did not, you know, amateur mistake. I did not put the log dogs up, and we actually had it fall onto the energy chain. And I am like a big, I'm usually pretty strict on that to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't know what happened there. It was just amateur hour. I don't know. I didn't break anything, but I did kind of split that right there and split that right there. But I was able to pop it back on. You can see they're not supposed to be split on the sides. So that's the only quote unquote damage. Everything else was intact. But yeah, rookie mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. Didn't put the log stops up. That's controlling actions. It's kind of like what we do every single time. I was an idiot. That's a good stack of wood right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8 of those there. And I do have another 5 or 6 over there. I got a resaw. Show you what we've cut up thus far. And everything's in 20-foot sections. 20 to 20 and a half feet sections. And these logs were actually, they've been down for a little bit and everything. So they're actually, in my opinion, the perfect, oh, back up. Dad, back up. Oh, he's gonna break a board. Dad, back up. There you go. Whew. He had one fork on one of the boards underneath there, bowing the crap out of it. These are all 20-foot 2x4s. Those are all 2x8s. And I got some 9 1/4s, which we're gonna actually saw down probably to 2x8s, because what I'm not gonna use those where initially I thought I was gonna use those, so I'm gonna cut those down to a different size. And then I think I have, oh, these are a couple 2x6s here. Anyways, not too shabby for just a morning time cutting everything. And then we went to go pick up some stuff at a friend's house. But yeah, good stuff. So we're gonna get back over here, throw another 20-footer on there, cut some more 2x8s. And then in another video, you're going to actually see what it looks like when it goes up into the inside of the house. So far, let me tell you folks, I'm blown away at the crew we had come in to help me to vault the ceilings in the living room, dining room, kitchen area. It's amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. All right, we'll get to cutting some more here, and then we'll figure out a total board footage. This blade, I don't think I'm having any issues with it cutting everything up here. Should be no issues whatsoever. A blade like this should get around 1,000 board foot of pine all day long, no problem. So we'll see. Okay folks, it's actually been a couple weeks since we did all the cutting with the sawmill, where we're using the blade that we got from Jerry's Resharp. This is the blade right here, the ripper blade and everything. And we use this blade very well. As you can see, there's a little bit of buildup on there. There is no sharpness to this. The set's still pretty good and everything, but it is dull. I mean, this is super, super dull. We did not keep the best of tracking about the number of boards cut up, the board footage and everything. All I know is Dad cut up, so I cut 2 logs with it, then Dad cut an additional 4 logs with it, and then we resawed a ton of other stuff. So we had those, I think they were essentially like the store-bought Dimension 2x10s, and then we had some 2x8s and 6s. A lot of those were actually resawn down, because surprisingly, the number one thing that we needed was the one thing I cut in the beginning and then kind of stopped. 2x4s. 2x4s are what we use the most of. We allowed everything to dry, I don't know, a week or 2 or something like that. And then everything else has been sitting here in the house in place. So we cut the stuff, let it dry for a little bit, and the sun had it all stacked out on like some of these telephone poles and everything. Let it dry for about a week or so. Then we put it in place, and we've been checking the moisture meter on it and everything. The wood is drying very, very well. We're gonna go ahead and hop inside real quick and I'll show you. Oh, I know the lighting is not the best in here, but all of these 2x8s, they are very, very dry. The heat of this building, of this addition we've added, is up there, and essentially it's been acting like a kiln. So you have all the 2x4s there. Those are all 2x6s in that wall. This wall right here was doubled up 2x4s. So we pretty much extended the 2x4s that were there. So that's the store-bought stuff. This is the stuff we cut it here on the sawmill. Everything is staying really nice and true, not getting any kind of crazy molding or anything like that. But I will say, we do have the last few boards that my dad cut, and this is when we knew the blade was done. See if you can see that. There's a few bows in that one. that part right there is pretty thick, and then it thins out up there. So again, it doesn't really matter on the orientation per se, because this edge was good, the back edge was good, but this right here, it may looks like a roller coaster. Very happy though, the way everything turned out. Everything is super, super dry, which is awesome. Dad even resawed some poplar boards and stuff like that. So again, he was running the sawmill during the day, keeping up with the demands, everything that the crew needed. I did a lot of that cutting over the weekend. Long story short, very happy with everything we have. We have these black walnut beams in here. They are phenomenal, and we're gonna show that in another video. But I just want to show you for right now, yes, we cut wood on the sawmill, and then yes, we used it almost right away. And you can do that with pine in some instances and everything, but also the age of these pine logs, they were dry-ish, if you will. They had been cut down for a while and set there. They got to the point where that outside bark started coming off. So that does help a little bit on the drying process. You'll never dry a log out in log form, but it did make it where there really wasn't any running sap. So there's that. All right, I'll let you go. We'll come back later and do some more videos of everything else, but I just want to show, here's everything in this space right here, cut on the sawmill. All right, we'll see you around.